Okay, so let's fix the rest of our building right now. We've got these three walls. I'm going to hit hover tab, and I'm probably going to have the same problem by design, right? Now I have to go in and fix that. So again, I'm doing this because I want to show you a feature that's going to be helpful to you later, and that's the wrapping feature. And what do I mean by that? Well, first I'm going to fix my walls. I'm going to move each one of them. All right. And then I will realign them. Align back here to here. Align to here, this one, and align to here, this one. And now I can verify that those are the same. Oh, actually, that one was backwards. Let's fix that one on the ground floor level. Apologies. All right, now we can align it. Ugh, and it bumped the other one. Okay, problem, but not something we can't fix. So you see how that bumped my other wall? That sort of thing will happen. When I do that, I'll pull those walls apart sometimes. That way it makes it easy for me to realign, and then I can come back and rejoin them, and then they're fine. Okay? All right, and just one more verification around my whole building right now that these are aligned and we are straight. Okay, so let's look in this wall again for a moment. If we go to the edit type feature and go to edit, notice you're looking at areas and you see this column where it talks about wraps. Sometimes we want a material to wrap around the wall, and if we want that particular layer to wrap, what happens? We can't seem to click in that right now, right? Let's pause the video and talk about something. So I had this checked. Normally, I don't have that checked. I always say that I want to wrap on the exterior, but I can do both, right? And once I do that, it should give me an opportunity to wrap. And it's so I'm going to come back and I'll figure out what's wrong with the feature for the wrapping. It should be wrapping and it's not, but we'll work on that a little later. The main thing I want to do right now is cut a section and show you how we're going to eventually detail the wall. We're going to look at what this looks like and eventually what it's going to look like, okay? And we'll come back and take care of that wrapping feature. So I'm going to go to my ground floor. And I'm going to cut my first section in the building. I'm going to go to view and I'll go to section, right? And that creates a section view. And right around, somewhere around column line C, just below it, I'm going to click and pull out to the right. You see how that section window allows me to change the depth of my section. I'm going to place it there and I'm going to come to it, right click and say go to view. Once I'm in that view, I'm going to change to a fine detail level, and I'm also going to go to the wireframe portion. I can kind of see through, right, when I click on wireframe. Now, looking at this wall, as you can see, that cross section is showing me what? It's showing me where my actual wall is a concrete masonry unit, but it doesn't look like the side of a concrete masonry unit. And that's where comes in eventually what we're going to be doing, not in this view, but in what's called a call out view. And I'll show you what I mean by a call out. At some point, I'm going to come here to this call out feature and click on this rectangle, and I am going to draw a window around that entire section of wall. I'm going to click on this bubble here, pull it to the other side, right? And then I'm going to click on this view within the section and say go to view. Now you can see the scale change because that's the typical change in scale of a call out view. It's at a ½ inch equals a foot. So we're going to get a lot more annotation in there, and that's based on the size of the text that's going to show up there. So we're going to be able to fit a lot more of it in. But you can see the wall still looks the same, and I'm going to change again to fine, and I'll make this one hidden line because I don't need to see the door in that view. In this view, I can go to this tab called annotate, and I can go to a detail component, right? A repeating detail component that I want to use. Like say for instance I had brick and I wanted to use brick. Look how I could put that brick on the outside of my CMU if I wanted to, right? Well, for us, we're going to insert and load a family. The family we're going to load is going to be under this detail items directory, under division 4 masonry, and we're going to go to concrete masonry unit, and we're going to pick the unit that we need. Now I'm going to pause the video so we can talk and resume. So now we're going to use the section of that CMU. I'm going to click on open, and now I'm going to go back to annotate, and I'm going to go to detail component. And now I have that CMU, and look how many sections it gives me. It gives me the 4 by 8 by 8. Which one am I looking for? I'm looking for 8 by 8 by 16 right now. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to place it right here. Now look at that. See how it doesn't exactly touch the ground, right? That's because right there at the bottom of it, they're showing you a what? A masonry, a bed joint, like we talked about. How can I get that to the ground? I'm just going to type in AL for a line. I'm going to click my slab, right? And then I'll click the bottom of the unit, and there that is now. Now all I need to do is click on this, and I'm going to say copy, and I'm going to click on multiple, and I'm just going to go right to the midpoint, and I can copy up multiple ones of these, right? And do you see how, when I'm doing that, it's masking out that area, because this detail item has what's called a masking region in it. And we'll talk about masking regions down the road as we continue detailing. Now, you don't have to do the whole wall right now. But what's interesting is as you go up to that first floor, right? Let's say I went all the way up to that first floor. Watch what happens. I'm going to pause the video and I'm copy them because I don't want all. I'm resuming. So now we've copied all the way up, and surprise, surprise, this matches up perfectly with our what? Our first floor datum. So those datums are very much on purpose, people, why we're choosing them. And now we know something has to happen at this unit. It's not going to be a regular unit. Let's stop the video and talk about it for a moment. Okay, so we need a bond beam unit here is what we discussed. How are we going to get that? Well, we're going to go back into what? Insert, load family, and we're going to get the bond beam unit, not the double section, but the single section, just like that. Then when I click on open, now all I have to do is click that unit, come over here, and I should be able to find my bond beam unit somewhere close in here. There we go, 8 by 8 by 16. There's our bond beam unit. If we want to show a piece of reinforcement, we load another family, right? We need to go up to where? Concrete, and go to reinforcing steel, and we're going to get rebar, but we want a reinforced bar in section. We'll hit open, and now if I go down to my detail families here, see this? Detail families. And I come in here, look at this, I've got a reinforced bar section. I'm going to use a number 5. Just for your reference, those are in eighths of an inch. So 4/8 is a 1/2 inch bar, and 5/8 is a 5/8 inch bar. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to place this thing. For right now, I'm going to kind of try and find the middle approximately, right? And if I have trouble, I can type in SM on the keyboard and see how it snaps middle. That's SM on the keyboard, snap middle. And then I can click it, and with my arrow key, I can bump it up to approximately where I think it ought to be. Okay? If I think there should be 2 in there, I might bump this off to the side some. And then what I'll do is I'll click on this, and I'll say mirror, draw axis, and I'll snap to that middle point. And there's my other one, okay? That's likely what we're going to have are 2 pieces in there. Go ahead and experiment with that. But it's good that with our units, the way we've built them from our ground floor to our first floor, that exact works. So we don't have to soap any of our units, okay?